In 1521, Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan, sailing under the Spanish crown, arrived in what would later be called the Philippines. Though Magellan was killed in the Battle of Mactan by Lapu-Lapu, a local chieftain, his expedition marked the beginning of European awareness of these islands. This was the start of a colonial period that would last for over 3 centuries. The real colonization began in 1565 when Miguel López de Legazpi established the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu. Unlike the conquistadors in the Americas who sought gold, the Spanish in the Philippines were initially drawn by the strategic location for trade with Asia and the opportunity to spread Christianity. The Spanish colonial system rested on 3 pillars: God, gold, and glory. The Catholic Church played a central role, with Spanish friars not only converting the population, but also serving as local administrators, teachers, and landowners. By 1700s, most Filipinos had been converted to Catholicism, making the Philippines the only predominantly Christian nation in Asia. The Spanish implemented the encomienda system, granting colonists control over Filipino communities in exchange for providing protection and religious instruction. This system evolved into the hacienda system, creating vast agricultural estates that concentrated land ownership in Spanish hands. Filipino farmers became tenants on land their ancestors once owned freely. The Philippines became the western terminus of the famous Manila-Acapulco Galleon trade, connecting Asia with the Americas. For 250 years, these treasure ships carried Asian silk, spices, and porcelain to Mexico, returning with silver from the New World. This trade made Manila a global commercial hub, but benefited primarily the Spanish colonial elite. The colonial government imposed heavy taxation through the tribute system and forced labor called polo. Filipinos were required to work on public projects for 40 days a year without pay. The Principalia, or native elite who collaborated with Spanish rule, served as intermediaries between the colonial government and the masses. Filipino resistance was constant throughout the colonial period. Major revolts included Diego Silang's rebellion in Ilocos in 1762, Francisco Dagohoy's 85-year revolt in Bohol, and numerous other uprisings across the archipelago. Though these revolts were eventually suppressed, they kept the spirit of resistance alive. By the 19th century, a new class of educated Filipinos called the Ilustrados emerged. Figures like José Rizal, author of No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, and other reformists advocated for equality and representation within the Spanish Empire. Their writings exposed colonial abuses and awakened Filipino national consciousness. When peaceful reform failed, revolution became inevitable. In 1892, Andrés Bonifacio founded the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary society. The Philippine Revolution erupted in 1896, led initially by Bonifacio and later by Emilio Aguinaldo. After Rizal's execution in 1896, the revolution intensified. The Spanish-American War in 1898 dramatically changed the Philippines' fate. Admiral George Dewey's victory at Manila Bay effectively ended Spanish naval power in the Pacific. On the 12th of June, 1898, Aguinaldo declared Philippine independence, but this independence would be short-lived. The Treaty of Paris transferred the Philippines from Spain to the United States for $20 million, ignoring Filipino aspirations for independence. This led to the Philippine-American War, as Filipinos fought their new colonizers just as they had fought the Spanish. The Spanish colonial period left an indelible mark on Philippine society. Catholicism remains the dominant religion. Spanish legal concepts influence the legal system, and many Filipino customs blend indigenous, Spanish, and later American influences. The colonial experience also forged a national identity that would eventually lead to true independence in 1946. The Spanish occupation of the Philippines demonstrates how colonialism transforms both colonizer and colonized, creating complex legacies that persist long after colonial rule ends. Understanding this period is crucial to comprehending modern Philippine society, politics, and culture.